Sam Pendleton. We have much more on his story. Sam Pendleton.
What got you settled into playing offensive lineman? Did you run away from it for a while too, or did you know day one? Because nowadays I feel like everybody knows there's an importance to playing on the O-line.
Yeah.
What did that take off for you at?
My dad played ball in college, O-line. Growing up, I was a bigger kid in my small town, always played O-line, always played D-line. A lot of kids when they grow up, they're like, oh, I played running back. And, I hear all the stories. And even in the room, you're like, oh, yeah, I used to play tight end. No, not me. I never touched the ball. But, going to high school, I thinned out. I got tall, got thin. I was like, oh, I'll try out for tight end.
Yeah.
Played tight end for 2 days and knew who to tackle. And I think it was at that point in my life where I was like, okay, this is what I'm made for. This is what God put me on earth for. This is what I'm going to pour all my energy into. Yeah. And here I am. And I think it's arguably one of the most important and fun positions on the field.
Where does your group, the offensive line, have to take the next step to be where you want to be?
I feel like our leadership in the room has definitely grown even since I've gotten here and from stuff I've learned before. But, just continuing to be very, I guess, persistent with our film, persistent with being in the room even when our coaches aren't there.
Yeah.
Because that not only does that help us get better on the field, it helps us be better in the locker room. And I think that's one thing as an offensive line, you can't be just separated. There can never be cliques. There can't be separation, division in the room. You have to be open. And that's one thing I also really appreciate about Coach Ellerby. If he has an issue with somebody, he addresses it in the entire room in front of all of us because, we're a family.
Yeah.
And that's how everything is handled. If you had an issue with your brother in the room, you go speak to him, you get it handled, and it's over. And I think just going forward, as we grow as a unit and as men, I think just continuing to do the little things right and do the little things consistently.
So you've played at one of the highest highs that people want to play in, national championships, quarterfinals. What is something from your leadership side of things that you can bring to this group to understand, yeah, you're working, but maybe we need to work just a little bit harder? What does that look like being a part of that journey at the old stop that you were with?
Coming in, trying to be in a leadership role, you never want to force yourself into something like that. And that's something I was kind of very trying to be cognizant of, not trying to be, oh, hey, guys, you need to listen to me. Because that's not at all my aim at anything. I just want to be a part of the team. I want to be a guy that helps aid the team the best way possible. But that being said, there's stuff you need to do to prepare. And, most of the battle of football is preparation. You practice all week to play one day.
No doubt.
And it's not like you play 6 games a week like baseball, or you play 5 games a week like basketball. It's something that you do consistently. And one thing I think, I've carried with me is just being an example. If you want someone to do it, you have to do it yourself.
For sure.
I try to hold myself to that standard every day. Coach Heupel set a standard. I got to live up to that standard and more. And, if I do it, someone else is going to want to do it. And if not, what am I doing to, drag them along with me? So, doing meetings with just the guys, no coaches, just trying to get around the people, trying to build chemistry, trying to build family is really important to me. We do meetings, just us, and it's really important to all of us that we are all in there, not just the O-line, getting in there with the tight ends, receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, getting us all in there as a unit. I feel like really is going to help us succeed this season.
Within the team concept, and we've talked all about the team and everything else too, but in the back of your mind, you have goals, plans. What are some of yours this fall and moving forward that you want to accomplish?
My goals, obviously, you want to play football. There's no positions given anywhere. I got to come in and earn every opportunity that I get, whether that comes now, whether that comes later. I want to play football, regardless of where I'm playing. And obviously, you want to, you hear all the All-American stuff and all that. But I want us to be a talked about offensive line unit.
That is Sam Pendleton sitting down with Ramon Foster. And you've been saying this whole time, you've been very impressed with what you've seen from Pendleton off the field and on the field.
Yeah, I thought he had the biggest shoes to fill of any player on the team, taking an All-American Cooper Mays in that offensive line. Obviously, you can look at his leadership ability in his interview. It just kind of pours out of how well he does and how he communicates with his teammates. That was the biggest question mark coming into, were they going to get the right person? And I think that the coaching staff did a phenomenal job of getting the right player in to make a huge difference in that offensive line.